Hello and welcome to the first Natter podcast, video podcast even, with me, Steve Harrison.
And me, Lewis Daniels.
It's going to be available on YouTube and transplantfootball.com. Today we are joined by Stuart Langworthy, England over 60's walking football manager. Hello, Stuart.
Hi both, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you, Stuart?
I'm good, thank you very much. Yeah, looking forward to talking to you about walking football.
First things first, Stuart, how did you become the England walking football over 60's manager?
I saw an advert in the WFA newsletter and thought that I would apply for it. I probably had a little bit too much red wine that night. But my logic was, when would I ever get the chance to apply for an England manager's job ever again? So I went for it. To my surprise and delight, I got an interview. I was still teaching full-time at the time. I think I nearly fell off the chair in my classroom when I saw an email that popped through to say I had an interview. I went for a 2-hour interview, did some live videos and things like that as part of the interview, and was absolutely delighted to get the job. With a background really of success in walking football and good people skills were the main two criteria. And I think hopefully as a teacher, I proved that, and success at my little club, Abermead Rovers, which is a housing estate in a rugby mad city. We've actually had a huge amount of success in walking football. So yeah, that was how I got the job.
Is it still a sort of pinch yourself moment that you are the England manager?
Every day, every time I hear it, every time you say that, it's such an honour. I can't describe the feeling of being with the team, singing the national anthem, and when people say about being an England manager, it's a huge honour. Yeah,
it's something that I suppose you never really expect to happen, but like you say, when it does, it's such a special feeling. Like Steve has represented Great Britain at football, and I'm looking forward to being involved with the England Transplant cricket team, and it feels special, doesn't it?
It's unreal, and all the players would tell you that they never expected this opportunity at our age. It's just absolutely fantastic at our time of life to be able to get an opportunity like this. It's just unreal, and the pride of the players and myself, yeah, unbelievable.
Excellent. So can I just quickly ask, how long have you been playing walking or involved with walking football before that? What was your involvement before that?
I had a hip replacement back in 2017. I tried playing 11-a-side football, realised that I was A, too old, B, too nervous of the hip. I'd heard about walking football, went and joined a local club 9 years ago now. Thought that it was fantastic. I was chairman of my local club, Abermead Rovers, and we decided that we'd set up a session for walking football. It started with 6 people, and we've now got about 120 and 6 different sessions. And that's probably the story that you'd hear at most clubs. It started small and it's just grown enormously. So yeah, I've been playing for about 9 years, and I was offered the role of England manager in 2018.
Amazing. So moving on from that, I believe you've got some exciting events coming up. Would you like to tell us a bit more about them?
Yeah, we're off to the Basque Country in May. We're taking an over 50s, 60s and 70s men's teams, and we're hoping to take an over 40s women's team over there, although that's in doubt at the moment. But yeah, we're playing. It's the first time we've played France. We've played the Basque Country before. We've played Italy before, but we're all looking forward to it. It's been a very difficult couple of years, and it's obviously limited the amount of opportunities for players because of COVID. So we're looking forward to going away and taking a big party away, and it'll be a fantastic occasion.
Excellent. Have you been abroad before with the team? I was just going to say, does it feel more special when it's abroad as opposed to being in England itself, or is it just a huge honour anyway?
I think what we're finding is that because we're leading the way, the England team was originally set up to help raise the profile of the sport. We were the first national team. Italy were the second country. And what we're having to do is we're having to play away games more often in order to help those countries to raise the profile of the sport in their own country. So we've been to Gibraltar, we've been to Italy, we've been to Wales, which wasn't that far to go. We've been to Crete. We went to the Basque Country in October, and for them it was a huge experience because they very rarely get to actually play and represent their own, what they believe is the Basque Country. to represent the Basque Country for them is more important than playing for Spain, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have been abroad a number of times, and we're hoping to be able to encourage people to come to our country and play us. We were actually hoping to have a World Cup 2 years ago, last year, and this year, and all of them have been postponed because of COVID, because people still are a bit reticent about travelling.
Absolutely.
So next year we will have the first ever World Nations Cup for walking football.
Oh, excellent. Look forward to watching some of that.
Yeah, we think we're going to have something like 16 nations at each of the age groups. So it's now being played in over 50 countries around the world.
Excellent. So also, I believe you're involved or starting a Parkinson's team for those with Parkinson's. How does that differ, and what the similarities with the standard walking football that you do?
Yes, we are. I was fortunate during lockdown to be asked to run a virtual walking football group for the We Are Undefeatable campaign. And one of the people I met was Paul Nichols, who has Parkinson's. And he sent me a video, which I actually thought was a bit of a, he won't mind me saying, a Mickey take at the start, of him shuffling very badly on walking sticks into his garden and then coming across a football and just coming to life. It was magical to see. And then his dog came in and stole the ball from him, and he's left stranded in his back garden. And it was quite an astonishing video. And talking to him, he talked about the fact that when he played walking football, he felt normal. And if the football could make that much difference to him, we believed it could make difference to lots of other people. So after that campaign finished, we met up with John Roche from Liverpool, who was playing Parkinson's walking football. And we decided, the three of us, to try a bit of a mission to try and get as many people who we could, because Parkinson's people tend to sort of stay at home. They maybe feel embarrassed about their condition, and getting them out of the house to form another group is a big thing for them. And then having a football in front of them and giving them a new social group is very, very important. So we decided to try and set up sessions around the country. We took part as a demonstration in the triathlon, which was run by Sport Parkinson's last year. And our mission was to try and hold a Parkinson's National Cup, which we did. Last month, we had 10 teams of people with Parkinson's. So that's 100 people, which took place at St George's Park. And it was just fantastic. And from that, we've now penciled in dates for early July to have trials for a Parkinson's England team. But so in answer to the question of how is it different, it's not that different, because, as I say, people come to life when they've, with Parkinson's, come to life with the ball in front of them. The one thing that you have to do is have short and sharp games, lots of breaks. Make sure that the surface is suitable, so it has to be a softer surface, which the 3 or 4G AstroTurfs are perfect for. And the difficult one is that some people might have to move their feet quite quickly in order just to get balance with Parkinson's, because balance and coordination is a big issue. And obviously in walking football, running is not allowed. So we have to talk to the referees about using their judgment as to what is deliberately running and what is a movement for balance and coordination. But other than that, the rules are exactly the same. It's 6-a-side. But we do have to talk to people about making sure that they're aware of their own conditions. And what's great about walking football is it's non-contact, and it's very much safer and very much more inclusive for people with Parkinson's and other health conditions to come and join in.
Excellent. So I play a bit of walking football, but our rules are very loose, should we say. I work with a mental health charity, and what we did was, rather than putting on football sessions, we decided to put on open age walking football sessions. And we have a no head out rule, and basically you can't run. That's probably about it compared to non-football. The reason we went down that route was from a physical point of view. If you've got people that aren't actually physically that fit, or they don't feel they want to play full football, this is a great way of getting people involved. So apart from the physical, obviously, benefits of playing walking football, we use that a bit with the mental health side of it. to help mental health with the socialising, etc. Do you find that a lot with walking football? With obviously it's over 50s, when you get to the over 50s, over 60s, over 70s, perhaps those that are on their own, those men that are on their own, and women in the women's game, do you find that they really benefit from the mental health side of it?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the biggest strengths of the sport because a lot of people gave up the sport because of their age, because of lack of fitness, and it's a sport that most people have loved all their lives. And to suddenly be able to go back out there on the pitch and have banter, you will find that all of the clubs have got a WhatsApp group. They all take the mickey out of each other on the pitch. They'll go for a drink, whether it be tea or coffee afterwards. And during lockdown, those social groups kept people going, the fun and the banter. It's what it's all about. And yeah, the physical benefits of the sport are fantastic, but the mental health benefits should never be underestimated. It's changing people's lives. It's saving people's lives, I think. It's giving people a new lease of life. We had some over 70s matches in the Southwest the other day, and one of the players was giving it quite large verbally on the pitch, and we found out afterwards he was 79 years old. And to be able to still do that, we've had a national cup final for over 70s with players in their 80s still playing. It's fantastic. I wish that I was that mobile and that fit into my 80s. It's just brilliant. It's keeping people going. And I think if you spoke to a lot of people who just enjoy their club football, they would tell you it's the highlight of their week. And in fact, many people will go to more than one session because they love the sport so much. It gets them out of the house. And it's so important for that. And you mentioned the women's game. The women's game is growing massively. And the beauty for a lot of women is that when they were younger, there wasn't football for women. So an awful lot of them are taking up a sport which they were interested in and may have enjoyed in the streets with their mates, but now they can actually play the game formally. And we're finding that the growth in the women's game is huge at the moment.
Excellent.
You mentioned mental health in there, and I think it's something that, especially in the position that myself and Steve are in, having transplants, mental health is massive and something that a lot of people struggle with in our position. I know for me personally, sport has been so powerful and benefited me massively, physically, mentally, socially, and I think you meet friends for life through it. Like we've said before on other podcasts, that with like our first one and when Steve was on mine, that it's an instant family feel. Does it feel like that with walking football?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm playing with a guy now at my club who I played against when I was 7 or 8 years old in Cardiff, and we've rekindled that friendship, and we're now playing together. You're meeting new people who are being given opportunities, not only just to play, but to get involved and things like that, which gives them a new lease of life, as I said. And we've very much become my club. I'm sure it's mirrored across the country. We're one big walking football family, and we take the mickey out of each other. One of our guys missed an absolute sitter last night in a cup match. He hit the post from just outside the area in an open goal. He won't forget that. We won't let him forget that. It's things like that. It happened to be the guy that I've known since I was 7 years old who did it. So, it's brilliant. And as people have big birthdays now, all the walking football crew are invited to their parties. We've become one big family, and it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. So, obviously, as Louis said, myself and Louis are both transplant recipients. How are the Walking Football Association getting involved with transplant football?
Well, we were contacted by Steve, who I know is doing some incredible things with transplant football. And he was really interested in the idea of for the more mature people, because walking football traditionally is played by people over the age of 50, although we are finding more and more younger people with health conditions, long-term health conditions. For example, we have James at my club who's 38, who's had a stroke, and he was given a 2% chance of survival. And he now turns up and plays walking football with us every week, and he's an inspiration to us. So it doesn't have to be for the over 50s, but traditionally it is. And I know what Steve was looking for was the opportunity for older people with, should we call them more mature people, actually, more mature people who've had transplants to carry on playing football and to maybe take up a sport, maybe, and have the opportunity to get themselves fit physically and mentally. So That's where we've become involved. Really, we spoke to Steve because he spoke to the FA, who really are only interested in walking football through their county FA networks, and there are some fantastic county leagues out there, which is brilliant. So it's no criticism, but the Walking Football Association is a very enthusiastic and well-run organisation of volunteers with only walking football at our hearts, and that's what we want to do. And we want to encourage as many people to take up the sport and to stay fit and healthy for as long as they can. So it seemed a natural partnership, really, for us to be involved in helping your more mature people with transplants to come out and carry on playing football.
If people want to get involved with walking football, where can they go to find out more?
The simplest answer is to go onto the WFA website. There is a Find a Club section on there. If people just go into Google and put walking football near me, they'll find it. Or they can go onto their county FA websites. Some counties are more active than others in terms of walking football. But the best place to go is on the WFA Find a Club website, because we've got quite a good database on there of clubs.
There you go. Go and check that out. The link will be in the description of the YouTube video and also in the show notes of the audio podcast, wherever you normally get your podcasts. Stuart, thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure to have you. If you're enjoying the podcast, please make sure you go and follow on your chosen podcast provider, and make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well so you don't miss any more video podcasts. That's a big red button underneath us. Why not hit the bell as well? Then you'll get notifications whenever we upload a new one.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for inviting me on, and I hope it all helps to raise the profile of the sport. Thank you.
I hope so too.
Thank you, Stuart.
And if you'd like to go and follow the Walking Football Association on social media, that'll be linked in the show notes as well. You can also go and follow us at the Natter Podcast. We are at Natter Podcast on Facebook and Twitter, and at Natter Podcast UK on Instagram. You can also go to the website transplantfootball.com to find out more about transplant football, and there'll probably be a link to the Walking Football Association on there as well. I've been Lewis Daniels, he's been Stephen Harrison, and you've been listening to and watching the Natter Podcast.